What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Keep Exploring podcast. My name is Scott from SoCal Exploring. Whether you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you're listening to this podcast or you're watching on YouTube, what's going on, everybody? Today, I bring you episode 3 of the Keep Exploring podcast with our very special guest today who has over 4,000 subscribers. You can find him at youtube.com/zombiechris in his home state of Florida. Chris dedicates his channel to filming movie/TV show reviews in a unique storytelling type of way and providing his fans with updated theme park news in the Orlando area, including the biggest haunt event in the area, Halloween Horror Nights, while also producing entertaining live streams with his co-host Connor. Please welcome to the podcast, Chris from the Zombie Chris YouTube channel.
Wow. Thank you. That was a stellar...
Everyone seems to love those intros.
Those intros, man, they're to die for.
Hey, man, but nice to have you on the podcast. You're a third guest in this little reband of a podcast that we're doing. Nice to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Very, very excited to talk to you about the Orlando side of things and your channel.
Thank you.
So before we start off with the podcast, as always, I got to plug our socials. So I'll let you start off, plug your socials, where they can find you at.
Okay, if you want to reach the zombie, I promise I won't bite. You can reach me
Not at
over
all.
on Instagram and Twitter. It's just simple. It's zombie CT, and no, the CT does not stand for Connecticut. I don't know why people always think that, but it's just zombie CT.
Perfect. And for me, if you want to take one step further in supporting SoCal Exploring, donate $3 today to our Buy Me a Coffee page linked down in the description to help us produce higher quality theme park content for you all to enjoy. And we also have a merchandise store now that just launched yesterday.
Hey.
And you can snag some official SoCal Exploring merchandise at a very reasonable price, just like one of our decal stickers for only $3.99. Just visit teespring.com/stores/SoCal Exploring-3 or click the link in the description of this video. I hate how Teespring doesn't let me make my own domain name, but it is what it is. So yeah, cop that merch and follow us on all socials, all in the description. But let's get to this podcast. Hey, Carissa, what is it like having to, because as I said in the intro, you do both movie and TV show reviews and you do theme park content as well. What is it like having to balance both theme park content and movie content to not displease your audience?
It's it could be a little tricky because the theme park audience, they love the theme park stuff and they'll keep returning. Movies, TV shows, they're very sparingly as far as like the watch base, because you might have someone that will watch a review on, I don't know, let's say for instance a Rob Zombie movie. They'll watch that and then they probably won't come back unless there's another like horror movie they're interested in. But theme park stuff, obviously, if they're interested in Horror Nights, they'll be interested in more Horror Night stuff or more theme park stuff or more, haunted sort of attractions in the area.
Yeah, and it's one thing that I noticed with their channel is it's like you said, if people are interested in like a Rob Zombie movie and you do a review on it, people are just gonna be interested in that, but they won't be interested in, say, like a Netflix TV show that you would review.
Yeah,
which is
like for instance, right now, like. For some reason, I did a video on the Folgers coffee commercial, and
I saw that blew up.
I keep seeing like comments every other day on that video for some reason. So
it's so funny. It's like those videos that you don't expect to blow up just blow up all of a sudden.
It's always a random video where you just decide, I'll just try this, or I just want to make a video about this random thing.
Yeah, and it's for those of you guys who don't create YouTube videos, it's the videos for most creators like myself, and I'm sure you can testify to this. It's the videos that you spend a little bit of time on and you feel like they're not going to do good that actually do blow up.
Yes.
It's like a weird thing.
Yes.
And then it's vice versa.
It's the weird, wicked upside down world of YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it, but it works out. Would you ever consider making a second channel dedicated to just solely theme parks and events?
Oh, good. That's a good question. Mm.
Because you have your audience obviously for both your reviews and the theme park news on Zombie Chris.
Hmm.
So would it
Ooh.
be easier for you just to balance one YouTube channel dedicated to reviews and one YouTube channel dedicated to theme park stuff?
Ooh, that's.
It'd be a lot
um,
of work still.
I would think it. I would be okay with just sticking with just the channel as it is because it's. I look at the channel sort of like it's an outlook of me like what I love and what I enjoy, and maybe you don't enjoy horror movies but you enjoy like the theme park stuff, so that stuff will all still be there for anybody that wants to just see the theme park stuff. And I would think like trying to have a second channel, it's, I don't know, it
It's just a
makes
tricky
sense,
thing.
but it doesn't. I don't know. To me, like in my thinking of it, it doesn't, because it just feels like, I don't know. Maybe I would be spreading myself like too far out, maybe. But hey, things happen. If that's what people would like down the road, then yeah, I wouldn't be against maybe trying it out and seeing.
Because like one of the things that I like about your channel a lot is you're just very cinematic with like your sit down videos and vlogs in general,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes a lot of work. I know that because I try to be cinematic myself sometimes, and sometimes I can't do it because I'm just not lazy, but it's just too much work for me.
But
But you
I
like
like
in
your style as well. I mean, it.
yeah,
I mean,
I
yeah,
think
cinematic. It
everyone has their unique
probably,
styles.
yeah, cinematic only adds like it adds like the icing on the cake type of thing. But I'd say that the cake that you present is still good.
Yeah, and like I said, everyone has their unique styles. But one thing that I think I enjoy the most about your content is how like you provide like the different angles, the different camera views, the red lighting in the background. Like
Hmm.
I love that. That's just something and a lot of people like that, and a lot of people like different
Yeah,
styles of videos. But me personally, I really do love the kind of cinematic aspect, and you also do it like and you almost like tell a story when doing like a review or doing like a theme park update.
yeah.
So
It's
what's it like basically plan do you plan it out like as in a storytelling aspect, or do you just kind of go off what's on your head?
a lot of times it pertains to like whatever the subject is. So if it's Halloween Horror Nights, I will try to throw in like a little mini like segment or a little mini movie, or something just goofy like I've done with past Horror Nights announcements.
Yeah.
Sometimes that stuff is just, it's always pre-planned, like not pre-planned in great detail. It'll just be
You
pre-planned
just
on the
write it out,
spot, like,
outline it.
oh, okay, today they're announcing, I don't know. We'll just throw out a crazy thing like Insidious, and then I'll just be like, oh, I
Mhm.
need to make something kind of just goofy or like a scary little segment. So then I'll just think of it or think of something to throw in there. Um, it's funny that you were talking about like the well, my co-host Connor, he calls them the sit down videos. He absolutely hates doing them, like, and so it's
Really?
funny right now with the quarantine going on and everything, that he has to sort of make these sit down videos, and he hates doing them. But for me, I almost find them to be more challenging and more fun to create than me just doing like a vlog if I went to Universal for the day. I don't know why. Some people might find that opposite, and they think like, vlogging an entire day trip or visit to a theme park is harder. But for me, I don't know. I find that easier than a sit down video.
Well, because and that's gonna I'm gonna dive a little bit into actually that'll
Segway.
bring us in our next question right now. Yeah, how would you describe the theme park community now compared to 3 years ago, both the good
Ooh,
side and
that's
the
a good
bad
one.
side? Because as we know, the theme park
Mm-hmm.
community has changed drastically over
I,
the years. So, and then we'll segue into this kind of topic and talking about the
So
different
how I
styles of
would
sit down
describe
videos
it
and vlogs.
was 3 years ago. I would say it felt a little more closely knit in a sense that it was still big. Obviously, there's still channels that do huge numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's more smaller channels who have more of a following, and it felt like it was just a smaller amount of people. Especially if you even go past the 3 years, you would feel like, well, it was only maybe a handful of people you would watch or know who do theme park vlogging or updates or any of that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, there was like a
and
set
now
group
it is
like of theme park
it is
vloggers that you had to
massive.
watch.
Like most people, you read articles that say like, oh, is YouTube dying, or is this platform vlogging dying in general? Not from what I've seen in the past like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many like new
Yeah.
people come into the scene, and really, I don't know, for some reason they just, either they were born to do this, or they just know how to pull an audience, and they will go from like starting point to couple thousand to 10,000 to 15,000 subs, almost like it's nothing. And so it almost makes it really does make that seem a little difficult on people who are just starting out. And that, I guess that's just the nature of how YouTube goes. Some people will have a bit more success than others. Some people have faster success. So versus what it was before, it was a little smaller. And I think I wouldn't say it was, the community wasn't so much together. Maybe like in the Florida parts, it didn't seem too much together. Like people would vlog, and you might see each other in certain videos. They might collab, but it was very sparingly. Now it seems like it's like massive. Like you can't go to an event without running into others. Everyone's collabing. Everyone's kind of, I would think most people today are trying to be a little more positive and supporting each other.
Yeah, and it's weird because as as you've seen from me, like my channel, um, I don't. I'm more old fashioned with theme park YouTube. I've been doing this for, I don't know how long you've been watching me. I know you've been watching me for a while, but I don't know how long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I started off in, when did I start? 2014. So I was used to like all like the old theme park stuff and the old theme park community, and everyone like kind of knew each other, but nobody was really like collabing or like getting like
Oh,
crazy updating like every single day. It was more just like, it's like with the HHN community. There wasn't a lot of speculators back then. There wasn't a lot of,
yeah.
it was a little group of people trying to break some code names that like Murdy would tweet out or Orlando would hint about. So it's just weird. Now, I'm still the same as you see on my channel. I don't really collab with a lot of YouTubers at all or creators, because in
Mm-hmm.
my eyes, it's not a competition. It's just I like focusing on my own work, and yeah, it's cool to lift people up and have. I mean, obviously, we have our little group chat on the socials with our influencers, but unless you find that set, I All right, this is where I want to talk about. I like collaborating with creators that I know are creating good content and really trying to make it in the theme park realm and doing their best to bring quality over quantity. And that's why I like
Mm-hmm.
guys like you or Knights of Four or TLAV, like all those guys, like they're really good. There's a lot of new YouTubers that um, just do quality, or not quality, do quantity, which is interesting, and that brings us into our next topic of, I see that you work a lot on thumbnails, like really really work on them and not just throw them together and get them out as fast as possible. You actually like take the time and like
Yeah.
design them and everything, and that's what I do. Like I try my best to make my thumbnails look beautiful, you know. And what is the struggle not getting the bigger audience that other bloggers are getting when you put in the tons of dedication to like design a thumbnail or create like that cinematic style that you have? Does it affect you at all, or do you just keep doing your same thing?
Um, for me, I think I would just I keep doing the same thing because like I actually like the thumbnail portion of it. um, um, I guess you'd say like this is all. Um, it's like a nerd geeking out over like a new Avengers trailer. Like for me, I get like enjoyment out of sitting down with a blank slate and just thinking of how am I going to design this
Yeah,
thumbnail.
I love it.
What am I going to crop
Especially when
out?
you
What
see
am I
it
going to?
like at the end. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
such a proud
Yeah,
thing.
the portion of it from being from blank to the finished product and like, oh, how did you design that, or what did you come up with the idea of the putting this certain color on it or the
Mhm.
lighting or so it's like that, and as well as like editing a video. I enjoy both portions of it. Like I could spend a good maybe hour to 2 hours editing a video, and I enjoy it. Like I don't think, oh man, that was 2 hours wasted. Like so for me, it's I understand the portion of seeing bigger YouTubers when you look and it's just a simple like a picture of something, or it's just a picture of the entrance of, let's say, like the globe at
Mhm.
Universal, and it's just like new
Yeah.
update,
It'll just be a
and
little
that's it.
text
And
slot
it's
there.
like, oh, that video. Yeah, it's like, oh well, I guess thumbnails don't matter sometimes, although the experts always say they do matter. So it can be a little confusing. I don't, I often thought about that. Like if I had reached a bigger status, would I still do the thumbnails like this, or would it just be like, hey, people are gonna watch this video no matter what the kind of thumbnail is because I have the subscriber, the
Mhm.
fan base. Would I still do the thumbnails? And I like to say I would.
I mean that's one of the things I always juggle about my channel is a lot of the big views and a lot of the big YouTubers in the theme park community that are blowing up is because they'll be out of the parks every day, you know. And as
Mm-hmm.
soon as you post, you can like film a video on your phone. Like that's another thing is like if you film a video on your phone, and it's like not the greatest quality ever, but if you upload that and title it like I don't know, let's just say crazy construction update, like the ride
Yeah.
sign is up, then the clicks on that video are gonna be insane. Whereas if I were to go out and like film a construction update and take 6 hours to get it up because I'm creating stuff, it's not gonna get as many views, which I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to look at the plus side of that is like, I'm sure you can testify to this too. Is I like how we both have 4K subs. I like how I have a set of loyal a loyal theme park audience that watches most of my content and it's always sticking with me rather than having people who just come for one construction update and then don't really stick with their channel at all. Would you say the same about your audience?
Yeah, that's that's a very deep thought there, and it is spot on with
Yeah,
it of how it's almost as if the the theme park community is mirroring like the day. Well, they're mirroring the reality of how news is now. It's sensational. It's the big title to grab people to watch or to read the article. President says, I can't believe the president
mm-hmm.
says this. You know, uh,
it,
um,
it's like mainstream media.
never before seen merch or new construction leak, or just different
mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Where, like you said, it's just people will like go to that video as fast. They'll share it. It'll widespread. It'll go viral, and you know it takes us time to get there. It takes time to film it, and then you may not be able to upload it in the same day, but you're in the back of your mind thinking like, oh, if I upload this like 4 days ago, everyone has already
Yep.
seen it.
Yep.
um, but I think that's what's unique about you or me or some of the other channels. It's the personality is sort of that extra bit that we put on it. It's not just, hey, here's Here's the update.
Yep.
Like take a bunch of shots of it, and that's it. But we kind of add a little bit more to it. And that's what I enjoy about
Yeah,
that.
and I really do enjoy making stuff like as creative as I can, no matter if it doesn't get as many views, because yeah, numbers help out with the channel, and I'm obviously trying to blow this channel up as big as possible and turn it into a bigger thing. But right now, would I much rather take the loyal audience over numbers? Yes, I would. I love my fans so much. Like, it's crazy because every single YouTuber says like, "Oh, I love my fans, like this and this and this," you know. But like, I genuinely like, I get so happy when people notice me. I get so happy. I love them. Like everyone, I wouldn't. It truly, when a YouTuber says they wouldn't be here because without the fans, that's the truth. Like,
Yeah, it's 100% the truth.
the supporters are what bring in the numbers. The supporters are what keep me going. Especially like there's often times where I get really really stressed out and I'm like, I just want to quit. Like I'm done. Like I cannot do this no more. But then like I'll go read and comment. That's like, your videos inspired me to like make a YouTube channel and I love your content. Like keep up the good work. And then I'm just like, wow, that helps out a lot. So I don't know. It is what it is. We're still gonna stay making content like we do, like the creative aspect of it, you know. And I guess a big part of how the theme park community has changed is we just gotta accept it and just keep pushing that positive aspect of stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's as long as we I don't want to say like good and bad vloggers, but as long as
you can say quality vloggers.
Okay, the quality makers,
there you creators.
As long as we sort of, yeah, as long as we like keep supporting, other quality YouTubers and not feed into, obviously like you normally would say, any of the negativity that's put out there by a lot of that dark corner of YouTube.
Why is it that theme park stuff has to get political now? Like, why?
It's a theme park. We love, the attractions and the shows and the musics and the merch and the food. It's as simple as that. Like,
like I always say, like when there's HHN has it a lot. When HHN starts to heat up a little bit and start speculating season, HHN, the community gets so nasty. Everyone disagrees with each other. Diz Twitter is nasty, but when Haunt comes around like speculating season, it gets so nasty. You can never have a right opinion. But what I always say is like, at the end of the day, we're all speculating on an event that we love. So why should we be arguing? We all love the event. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about each other or anything like that. We all love one thing, so why don't we come together?
See, that's different from the Orlando side of things, because I don't usually see too much negativity unless it's something announced and most people, well, okay, like for instance, last year, Us, when that got announced, that was sort of the most political or the most hate I've seen on the Orlando side.
Hollywood didn't get that hate until the event happened, obviously, but Hollywood didn't get the hate. One thing that I'm sure that you've noticed is a lot of Orlando folk from HHN in specific coming to Hollywood's event and then completely crapping on it. That's the only negative side that I've seen of Orlando, really, which sucks as a Hollywood fan. Would you say that most people are optimistic about coming to Hollywood, or do you think that everyone just goes there to be like, Orlando's better?
From what I've seen of most folks who've been over to Hollywood, they seem to enjoy it, and it's not. I think most of them realize, because they're more so like older HHN veterans who've been going to Orlando's event for so long, that they realize, they're two different events. They're named the same and they feature the same IP sometimes, but there's a difference, and I think they understand that going in. I would think if I were to go, I wouldn't, I would take it just face value like any other kind of new haunt experience where it's like, hey, I can't solely compare this. I can say, hey, it's similar, like how we have Busch Gardens Hollow Scream, and a lot of people try to compare Hollow Scream and Horror Nights, and they're just different.
Two different levels.
Yeah, they're different
Two
value.
different levels
they're
right
different.
there.
Yeah, it's just far different. So I would think most people are there. I would hope they're open and like you said, optimistic to understanding how Hollywood is just different.
It's a different animal, you know. It's like one thing that it's like with me and Not Scary Farm over here and Horror Nights. I'm never gonna compare Not Scary Farm to Horror Nights just because. I mean, like, they're just two different events.
Mm-hmm.
Not Scary Farm offers a more traditional haunt with original mazes and such, and Horror Nights are more focused on intellectual properties and making you feel like you're in a movie. And the same thing with Orlando. I've had a lot of my friends that go to the Orlando event, and they'll be like, yeah, Orlando tops Hollywood for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
we're spoiled down here.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, obviously, Orlando's, like, production is... They just have a lot more to work with. They have so much more sound stages to work with and stuff. Like, but I mean, when I go to Orlando, which hopefully I'm gonna go this year or next year, whenever I go, I'm not gonna come back and be like, "Yo, Orlando topped us." Like,
yeah, you're like, I'm
hands down,
never
they
going to
topped our
Hollywood
asses.
again.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, Orlando was cool. Like, it's impressive, but like Hollywood's my home. I love Hollywood.
Mhm.
I love the unique things that Hollywood brings, and you know."
Yeah.
Speaking of HHN Hollywood, you coming down here this year?
I can neither confirm or deny that. I'm trying my best. I would say it's more on the positive side of maybe happening than the negative side. I would hope.
Yeah.
I'm certainly nervous. I'm scared. I'm more
Oh,
terrified to go to Hollywood's event, not because I think it would be filled with, you know, the black walls and curtains, but it's just
Which we do have
from
a
what
lot
I've
of.
heard, Hollywood is a bit more of a scarier event than Orlando's.
It is, as far as crowd wise goes. Man, our crowds are insane. I'm sure Orlando's. I've seen those lines at Orlando, but
Yeah.
as far as the general audience goes, Hollywood has it bad, which kind of sucks. But it's just how it's how big the event's gotten over the years, and you can't love it or hate it because you appreciate to see how big Horror
Yeah.
Nights has grown. So it's nice. It over in Orlando, you guys are coming up on the 30th year, right?
Yes,
30-year anniversary.
this year. Yep.
HHN 30. Any predictions on what's gonna happen as far as their anniversary goes or mazes go?
Yes, I can give you maybe some exclusive from what I've just heard today.
Let me hear it.
We had a property, from what I was told and what some of the rumors have been sprouting about. We had a property that you guys over in Hollywood already had. You guys already enjoyed it just last year. It was supposed to come to our event this year, and from what I've was just told, it's no longer on the slate this year.
It's Creep Show, huh?
That's what I'm hearing.
You know, Creep Show is such a big part now.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't think when they announced it, like, and it was gonna be a big maze and a good maze, but I didn't think it was gonna have such a big role in Horror Nights now, because it's rumored that we're getting it for a second year in a row too.
Wow.
Just different episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how big Creep Show has gotten. But you said in Orlando, you've heard that they lost that property.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That it's being scrapped. I don't know why. But it's easily being, I think, transported into something that we've sort of had at the event that would make sense for HHN 30 being the anniversary year. I know how Hollywood folks, you guys have had some Horror Night icons, like
A couple.
what's the
And
the
I wouldn't call
clown?
Hollywood Harry an icon.
Yeah, Harry.
Because a lot of people want to describe Hollywood Harry as an icon, but man, he's only been on the Terror Tram, and it sucks because I wish he'd be an icon, like an actual like how Jack is,
Yeah.
and how Jack's like the theme of the event. I wish that they do that with Hollywood Harry because I love him as a character and I love the storyline around it.
And you guys, you tend to feature, from what I've had noticed in the past, you will feature sort of like, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong and forgive me to the Spanish audience, La Llorona? I think
La Llorona. I don't know
La
how to say it either.
Llorona.
I'm half Mexican and I don't know how to say it.
But so like when you guys had that the very first year, to me that would have that's like, oh, that's your icon for this year. But even though it's not officially an icon, it's just more like that's what's on the advertisement, that's what's on the shirt and the billboard. I kind of think of that's how you guys do icons every so often, or where you just have sort of what's the bigger house and that's your icon for that year.
It's like the past 2 years have been Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things, and then it's what, like Freddy, Jason, Texas, Leatherface.
Yep. Oh yeah, the Titans of Terror was the year before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that though. I can see that trend for sure, and I've seen it over the years since HHN has been slowly changing. It didn't used to be like that. It used to be just like everybody would get their features in, like in their merch, and like you'd see all different types of merch. But now it's like last year, like I was expecting there to be a Creep Show shirt or a Creep Show.
Yeah, that would have been cool, like a solo Creep Show shirt.
And there wasn't. I mean, and it was Shudder's TV series, so there wasn't any rights issues or anything like that. Yeah. But unfortunately, not a lot of people know what Creepshow is, so we didn't get that. It just sucks, you know. But I really wish that they would take the icon route. I think Hollywood fans, diehard Hollywood fans who have been going for a while, would be very excited with it. However, I don't think it'd get the same reach as like Jack would in Orlando, because you guys are known for icons. You guys are known for originals. Mm-hmm. That's your big thing.
Yeah.
Any dream originals that you'd like to see over there?
As far as like, are we talking like originals that we've had in the past? Because
originals in the past if you wanted to, or anything that like you'd like to see from your own head that you could think of.
Yeah, Orlando is known for doing that quite often, of having something that's a hit and then they bring it back, or they. So, for instance, we have the Body Collectors. Body Collectors, if you do not know, they got the inspiration from these suited characters with this big grinning smile on their face. And they came from Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show. And so they've been featured at this event, like, I think, 4 or 5 times now. They've had a scare zone. They've had multiple houses. The last time we saw them was at HHN 25. And I do believe, or I hope, that they're going to return. We've had Psychoscarapy be a number of years. I hope that's going to return at some point, maybe this year. And then just more stuff recently, like we had Scarecrow, The Reaping, which was a huge house. I mean, it was a small house because it's one of our tent houses, but it was deemed one of the scariest houses they've done in probably like of all time. It's one of the most intense houses, and a lot of people have been wanting a sequel to that. So I would hope that gets a sequel. Maybe if they do something like they did at HHN 25 and do sort of like Jack Presents, like a look back through the history of Horror Nights, and they feature different old school sort of segments within one big house. So I'm hoping they do something like that again.
That'd be really neat, and I think that that's not like a thing that you'd be surprised if Orlando did.
Nope.
Because Orlando, like the creative team, is very optimistic to trying out new things. Over here, unfortunately, Murdy doesn't really. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. Murdy doesn't have a say in a lot of the stuff anymore.
Oh.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff in Hollywood, especially, it's Hollywood. You know, where all the stars are at. Hollywood really wants to push advertising, and Hollywood really wants to push getting the big names in. So with Orlando, I feel like there's more leeway over there.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. I just wish that the creative team over here was was not. I'm sure Murdy's open to doing a lot, but I wish that didn't have as many restrictions as far as being open to do like an original maze, because I love the original mazes. I really do. When Murdy brings an original maze, I think it hits every time.
Yeah, because you
A
can see
lot.
the almost the spark, the creativity
Yeah.
that they're not
Uh-huh.
obviously tied to an IP that you have to have, certain things that have to be featured,
Mhm.
certain music, certain scenes.
Exactly. And with the movie mazes or TV show mazes, you can argue like, oh, they missed out on that or they missed out on that. Whereas an original maze, you can't really say they missed out on anything other than like, oh, the maze just wasn't good. You
Yeah.
can just appreciate the original maze for what it is. So there's so much ideas that we could have over here in Hollywood for like I loved Pandora's Box. I don't know if you watched a walkthrough of that,
Yeah, that was
but
good.
yeah, and a lot of people that maze got tons of hate this year because of the black walls and reused props. But who cares? We got an original maze.
Yeah. It doesn't happen often, so you got to
I,
enjoy it when it does.
I don't know if you saw, but there was like a pre-show to that maze actually.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, so like you'd walk in the first room, and it happened here and there. I got to experience it like 3 times. They'd close the door or the box, and then like they'd press a button, and the door would it'd do like this cool like projection mapping on it for like a couple seconds, and then the door would open itself.
Whoa.
So that was really neat to see. If you guys got to experience that, let me know in the comment section. It was really, really neat, and I loved it. And that was just one of the unique things about that maze, and I think that a lot of people didn't appreciate that as much. I guess because a lot of people didn't get to see it, but that's one of those things
obviously
that, like,
with the
you gotta
crowds,
appreciate.
it's hard to
Yeah,
do an
yeah.
effect like that.
Especially where that maze was located at, it was just in such a crammed area, a really crammed area. It was hard to maintain like capacity and stuff in that maze. So, but yeah, HHN 30 seems like it's gonna be exciting for you guys. I'm excited if I get to go.
I'd hope. I'm crossing my fingers
Unfortunately,
for you.
you know, here's the thing, right? Is I plan Orlando trips for the past 2 years, and last year was like I just didn't have the money. It's whatever. This year, I'm like, all right, I'm chilling. I'm gonna book my hotel soon, and then guess what happened?
Yeah.
The coronavirus made us all unemployed.
Which might lower
So,
the prices later on.
That's true. It could lower the prices.
Yeah, when things roll over.
But yeah, as of right now, it's kind of looking like a 50-50. But hopefully, here's the
third
hoping,
time's the
things can
charm,
happen.
buddy.
Exactly. Third time is a charm, and I know for a fact that I'll be out there next year. If I don't get out there this year, for a fact I will be out there next year.
You heard it here,
But-
folks.
Yeah, exclusive. But who knows? I got a couple Instagram questions for you, and we already touched up on this first one from @Christopher_OTF. He asked, "What are your thoughts on HHN Hollywood?" So I guess you can just say like, "What are your overall thoughts about?"
Oh, me? Interesting. Well, yeah, not you, because you always give it.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's kind of funny because going to Orlando's event, like it's like you said, it's Hollywood is your home, Orlando's my home. Like I feel like I can walk around the event with my eyes closed, besides bumping over props or running into scare actors.
Yeah.
I feel like I know it, and Hollywood is sort of this. I don't want to say risque, but it's sort of like it's that taboo type of thing where it's like over there, but it's teasing me. It's something that's always been there, and it's like, hey, you want to come over here? Like things are different.
Join the dark side.
Yeah, it's like, and I've always studied this event. I've always watched videos on it for years and years and years. I've always sort of had this other love for the event. And thankfully for, your channel and others as well who provide great content that I can always rewatch and know like, hey, I'm missing it in person, but I'm not missing, seeing all the aspects of it.
That's like with Orlando. It's like I have this second love for Orlando just because there's so many creators making videos, and
yeah, it's always
Orlando
almost something
is-
different that you can watch like all the time or catch something different.
yeah, exactly. And especially since Horror Nights as an event is just like evolving over the season. Like there's changing stuff, and
Yep.
there's creators over in Orlando and over here as well to point out those changes. So it's nice, It's like we can live at the event that we aren't able to go to quite yet, but virtually. Our good friend at the Nights of Horror asked, "What have you been doing to stay sane in all of this madness?"
Stay sane in all this madness. Hmm. I don't know. I've been working, so I haven't been
Yeah,
quarantined or like
yeah. You've been working out there.
yeah, I've been working. So during it, I'm just, I guess, washing my hands, trying to stay away from any folks that say they don't feel good, because we've had that happen
Ooh,
multiple
that's not good.
times over, even before this the scare of Corona started.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of folks here and there would just be like, "Oh, I don't feel good." And I'd be like, well, I'm staying a good distance away from you. Or if they
Like,
would
stay away
cough,
from me.
yeah, or if I heard them cough or sneeze, I'd be like, get away from me, get away from me. So other than that, it's just watching a lot of YouTube content, watching a lot of good stuff that's come out recently. Netflix and Amazon Prime has put out some good stuff. That's pretty much how I stayed sane. I mean, there's no theme park stuff going on with theme parks shut down, and really, everything as far as HHN is sort of up in the air at this point. I mean, the
Yeah.
event's still going on, but we don't have really much to go on if stuff is maybe shuffling or stuff is not really happening. So
And we should be getting an announcement soon.
I would hope.
t-
Once the
Today, as we're
park's
filming
open,
this,
I
was
would
our
hope.
first announcement. The March 27th was our first announcement of last year.
Mhm.
So here's the hoping. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Hornets is going to be canceled, or haunt season, if it even happens."
Yeah, stop that
It's
rumor.
It's gonna happen. We will have haunt season, and we will enjoy it. Like I tweeted out, I said I don't think haunt season is gonna get canceled, but I do think that production wise, it may get pushed back and just have a little bit less quality into it. But there's no way it gets canceled.
Yeah. They're just
Like,
going to
the
have
US
to really hustle as soon as
work hard.
Yeah, as soon as
Uh-huh.
everything comes back. They're going to be like round the clock doing construction. Like,
Yeah, and a lot of people got to realize all the creative teams working from home right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Murdy lives in Ireland. He works from home all the time.
Mhm.
So
as
you
well
know,
as one of
last-
our Orlando creators tweeted out
Oh,
a
really?
photo. I think it was today or
Oh, yeah.
yesterday. Yeah.
his HHN station, I saw that.
Yeah.
At Sickle66 ask, what are the haunts like in Orlando?
Good one. Good one. Let's see. Orlando's as far as the haunts, so they have three. They're not really close to each other. So we have HHN Orlando, which is at Universal Studios Florida. It's like Hollywood's event, only I would say there's more houses, more scare zones, more shows. It's like their event, I would assume, but just more production, I guess, behind it.
Mhm.
Maybe not the look of things, but just more of everything. It's just more and more. It's like a buffet. And then we have
yeah, you get a selection of everything.
yeah. Then we have Dark Horizon, which just premiered last year, which is from the folks who do Queen Mary's Haunt.
Which is a phenomenal event.
Mm-hmm. And that just opened last year for the first time. I believe I heard it was coming back this year. Hopefully it will. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully they'll come back, more houses, and just improve on it, because it was great the first time for what it was. Some terrifying moments. Then we have Hollow Scream, which is over in Busch Gardens, which is in Tampa. So if you wanted to go to that event, in case you were traveling to Orlando's event, it's about an hour drive away from where HHN Orlando is. That event is, I would describe it maybe quality wise, sort of like how Knott's is to Hollywood's Horror Nights, where it's a little lower on the quality, but they make up with it with the scares and the acting, because the actors don't have a bunch of prompts and effects to go off, so they're a little more aggressive.
They do improv themselves on their scare actors.
And I've always had fun every time I've visited Hollow Scream as well. They're just different, beasts as opposed to Halloween Horror Nights Orlando's event. And then you have more smaller events that take place here and there throughout Orlando's area. I haven't been to any of those, but I've heard they're really terrifying because they can do stuff like touch you, or they can lock you in certain rooms and do certain things.
I've heard Orlando's got a lot of those. We have our extreme haunts down here, but I heard Orlando's got a lot of those.
I don't know what my comfort level is.
I don't think everyone tells me every year, Scott, go to the 17th door. I'm like,
okay.
No, I'm okay. I don't want to have my hair cut.
That would be kind of terrifying.
Yeah, I am good. Extreme haunts are for some people, but for me, no thank you.
Yeah.
If there was a haunt that balances extreme and normal, they can touch you a little bit here and there, then I'd be all for it. But there's none like that. It's either extreme or normal haunt.
And I think the closest I've gotten to extreme, there's two experiences I've had. One was at HHN Orlando when they, one thing about our event is kind of unique, and they don't do this as much as they used to. Towards the end of the event, they would have something of a rumor fly out about Legendary Truth, which is sort of this, it's an old school HHN type of society that's within the world of Horror Nights. I know it makes no sense, but they would do sort of these tests, these lab tests they call them. Towards the end of the event, it would just pop up and it'd be like, oh, Legendary Truth. It would either be like something interactive in the park, say it would be like a scavenger hunt, or it would be some kind of unique sort of personal haunted experience is what they had a couple years ago. And I did that, and that was terrifying because it was only me and 5 other individuals who had to kind of go through a couple rooms, and you had some interacting stuff there, and it was terrifying because I didn't know what to expect, and it was just me and 5 other strangers doing this. And the other one was at Dark Horizon Orlando, which they pulse the number of people who are allowed in house. And I mean pulse as in hey, how many are in your party? Okay, me and Connor. Okay, you two just go in by yourself. I've never really had that at HHN Orlando, to go into a house by yourself. Yeah, because
they kind of do a conga line at HHN events.
So you're used to having people sort of in front of you or people behind you, but it's one thing to just be like, oh yeah, you guys go in by yourself. It's like, oh crap. We were so terrified. My heart was beating, Connor's heart was beating. We were just like, no, you go first. No, you go first. So that's about,
speaking of
the
minds of the Dark Harbor crew, like you said, they brought over Dark Horizons last year, which I watched a couple of videos about it as well as yours, and it's just in the parking lot of a hotel, which is interesting, but it's unique, making the most. And I feel like John Cook, who has had a big part in creating the Dark Harbor events, he is really the one turning around Dark Harbor. He turned around Dark Harbor as an event down here at the Queen Mary. And for you guys who don't know what Dark Harbor is, it's a Queen Mary event. It used to be to have a Knott's vibe and such, but now John Cook came in, which is one of the designers, and he completely flipped it and made all the mazes have more stories to them than anything. And then they announced that Dark Horizons was coming. I was like, well, let's see how Dark Horizons is. I'm sure it'll just be barely getting off its feet. You guys had 3 mazes, right?
Yeah.
At Dark Horizons. And from what I saw, wow, some of the mazes there were better than the ones at Dark Harbor. The pirate one, that one looks so cool. And the interactiveness that they did with secret bars. There was one that I saw you go down a slide.
Yeah.
that's so cool.
The slide was cool. We made it look cool. It was a little rough, depending on, I guess, what clothes you were wearing. But I mean, yeah, you wouldn't think a slide would be in a haunt.
Yeah, and there's just so many aspects to it, and it's really neat. I'm excited to see where Dark Horizons goes. That's another event. When I go out to Orlando, I'm going to go to Dark Horizons. Those are the two events I'm going to go to: is Horror Nights and Dark Horizons when I go out there, because man, it looks so cool. Like it looked so neat, and I'm sure it's small, but it looks so cool. You know, it looked really really neat, and also, the Dark Harbor crew is very much media friendly. They
Mm.
take care of you a lot, and they like to invite small influencers like Media Day over here at Queen Mary. So I really do like Dark Harbor. I love the event. I love everyone who works with it, and I'm excited to see if they do like a potential like expanding the haunt somewhere in the middle of the nation. You know, somewhere. I don't know where they do it, but I think that'd be cool. You know.
Yeah, the idea that like sort of like this event or can travel throughout the states. That's kind of cool because you never know where it would pop up next year.
And it's funny because like the theme of Dark Horizon looked identical to Dark Harbor. Like the fonts, the maze entrances, like they all looked like the exact same. It was so cool.
Yeah, they even
Um,
featured some of the same characters, right?
yeah, like the voodoo priestess was
Yes.
over at Dark Harbor for the first like 2 weeks, and then we couldn't see her anymore over here because they said that she was over in Orlando. So that was really neat. I really enjoy that, and it just goes to show you how these smaller haunts, Dark Harbor's a kind of big haunt, but nothing compared to like how big the Scary Farm community is or Horror Nights community. It just goes to show you how much potential there are in smaller haunts. And that's what I like about it the most. But I mean, I think that wraps it up for our talk today. Man, that was a good one. That was a real good one, and I enjoyed talking with you, Chris. You know, you like I said, you are doing so good on your channel, and I love to see the style of your videos. So as always, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Wow. I think this is the first time I've ever done an interview or featured as a guest on something outside of, what I've done on my channel. So thank
Mhm.
you, Scott, for having me. I love everything that you've done with your channel. I love sort of, I don't want to say it's a rebranding, but it almost feels like it's a fresh take, a fresh
It's a fresh.
idea. Like especially
Uh huh.
I would say you sort of have a rebranding in the last year or so,
Yeah, I'd say in the last year.
and
Yeah.
I think you're hitting the hammer on the nail, man. I think you're spot on with the name. I think everything's spot on. Like the content, keep doing it, man.
Yeah, I need to hop on your guys' podcast soon. I want to talk with you and Connor. Connor seems like a cool guy. Um, so
Don't believe
and
it.
oh, okay, I won't. Connor, you're not a cool guy. No, but you guys are good at talking with each other on the live streams, and I'll poke in here and there when I'm able to. So yeah, it's really neat. Thank you again for coming on. You can find Chris on the YouTube channel Zombie Chris and on his social platforms at Zombie CT. That doesn't stand for Kinetic.
Yes, does not. I need to make that a shirt.
That'd be great. If you guys are new here, subscribe with those bell notifications on, and if you're listening to Spotify, follow us so you don't miss a new episode. Buy our merch because we have merch. I'll link down in the description as well as our socials across the board: Instagram, Twitter. You know where to find us. That has been episode 3 of the Keep Exploring podcast. My name is Scott. I've been talking with Chris from Zombie Chris. Positivity is key, and most importantly, remember to keep exploring. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.